So weapon concepts are really fun to look at, and it's been a while since I've done one, so today I'm looking at another one. Also, make sure you subscribe. Now, this scout weapon concept is called the TREBLE Rebel because, as you can see, it looks like it has 3 chambers for bullets or shells to come out of. So, you know, pretty fitting name. Well done. Top marks on that. This weapon looks really cool. It looks more like a pistol than an actual primary weapon, but it's not the size that matters, it's what you do with it. Or so I've been told. Either way, the gun looks cool, and that's all that matters. I don't know what it is with all of these scout primaries having a lower clip size, but this one actually has to be lower. There's only 3 slots for bullets or shells to fit in. Unless you wanted to do some lock and load kind of magic and give it 4 bullets instead, you could do that if you wanted to, but I think people might not be very happy with me if I do that, so for now, we'll leave it at 3. But maybe if it did get added in and 3 bullets wasn't quite enough, then Valve could just up it to 4. Like, nobody's going to question where that next bullet comes from. So I went and asked my Discord what they thought the stats of this weapon should be. Which, by the way, if you're not in my Discord, I've actually fixed the link in my description, so you can join it now. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was broken for so long. And my Discord kind of came up with 2 different concepts. The first way is that you shoot each of the bullets separately, one by one, like most of the weapons in the entire game. And you can have this thing holster and deploy a bit faster and even potentially reload a bit faster than the regular weapons as a bit of a mix between the force of nature and the short stuff. You could then have the damage stay relatively similar to the other scatter guns that already exist, so it's not the biggest benefit ever because you have less bullets but everything happens faster. But if you nerf the damage or you buff the damage too much, it will become underpowered, overpowered, and if it get added in, it would actually never get used. One day, I promise, I will learn how to balance weapons in this game. So what I thought was interesting about the holster speed and the deploy speed was that it could allow you to swap to the winger and maybe even the atomizer much faster to get your jumps in and help with the mobility of it. Now, I know the soda popper, while you're using it, gives you a whole bunch of jumps as well, but sometimes you might not want to use the soda popper, or sometimes you're in a game where you really need that extra bullet, and this is where this kind of gun could exist. It helps your mobility anyway because of the switch speed, swapping to the winger and the atomizer, and you also have a few more bullets than you would have if you had the soda popper. I feel like even though this weapon looks pretty small and simple, it has a lot of potential. So you could really like mess with the damage numbers, the deploying holster speeds, pretty much do whatever you want with this thing, like really go crazy. But the other option that you could have, an idea that I like a lot more, is that you can fire all 3 of the shots in this weapon at the same time. A little bit like those Force of Nature bots that are going around or something, where they just double tap their gun and shoot both bullets at the same time, doing damage they really shouldn't be doing. This thing would probably not be as powerful as that, or maybe it would, but I'll explain why. But basically, shooting all 3 bullets at the same time would mean you have a really strong weapon that was different enough from every other primary that the scout already has, so you're not just holding basically a reskin of a certain weapon. Now, obviously, if this was actually how this gun ended up working and you shoot all 3 bullets at the same time and it did the same damage as 3 regular good shots would do, there's going to have to be some pretty big downsides. The first example being you could have a much higher reload time because you need to reload 3 bullets instead of just 1 that you'd be reloading normally. I guess as well, you could have it not be 100% accurate or even having it be such a small spread that you need to be right on the person to hit the shot or else you miss. So it's quite a little risky weapon to use, so you could hit somebody and do loads and loads of damage to them, or if you're off by just a little bit, you miss completely. I think it would honestly be really cool to have something like that for the scout where you need to be super accurate and you get a massive payoff for it. It'll make it especially difficult to use because with scout, mobility is the name of the game, and if you're jumping around somebody and you're doing all of these crazy little things to try and stop somebody else from hitting you, aiming this thing will be quite hard. But I think that would be a really cool challenge. That kind of reminds me of like the whole classic sniper rifle headshots things and stuff like that. But having something like that for the scout where it needs to be super accurate and you need to put the time in to be good at it, that sounds like something I am super interested in for this game. Other than that, this weapon looks really cool. I still don't know how to use the shortstop, as you can probably tell. And that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.